talk about supply chain for a moment. So what do I mean by supply chain? Let's keep it simple. In the product, in this application, we've already designed a supplier management whereby you can track everyone who supplies you. So you can track the purchases, the payables, and all of that. You can track the cost accurately from the supplier to your shelf, ensuring that all your expenses are captured. For instance, if you run multiple warehouses or multiple shops, which we call outlets, you can also, in this application, you can do what we call supply products. You can supply products from a particular branch to another branch. Imagine that easily. You can also do a supply product from a particular warehouse, from a warehouse to different branches, depending on how you run your business. And we also have what we call supply clients or supply customers, because it has an CRM. There's a customer sort of management feature there. So you can actually do a bulk supply to regular customers. So that means that you don't need to use the point of sale of the application which you are using to attend to individual customers at your shop. You can use another feature called supply customer, which is the wholesale aspect of the application. It's very, very vast. So it's very interesting, very, very intelligent application to use. Now, finally, let me talk about real-time performance dashboard. So it provides a sort of a 360 sort of overview, giving you enough insight to make strategic and intelligent decisions. So any application that does not give you a real-time performance dashboard today, there's no point using it, because in this day and age, you want to be informed about how your business is doing. If you don't have the data is really wealth. Data is money. If you don't have the data, you don't have insight about how your business is doing, don't waste your money. That is not an application. You need a system that can guide you in how you make decisions. How many products have I sold in the last 1 month? How many products, what sort of products are making the, topping the chart in terms of their performance? What kind of product do I need to restock, and by when? Right? So don't just stock products in your shop. The system will tell you the performance, so you know the kind of suppliers that you need to even build a more closer relationship with, because that the success of your business depends on the availability of their own product. So the system guides you in all of these things. You have complete visibility. You track your sales performance per product outlet. You can then even monitor your staff performance. That's what we call the staff performance dashboard. Now you can see how your staff are performing across different branches. What sort of product are they selling the most? Which it has a KPI settings where you can set a KPI for your staff as well. So imagine a bit of human resource management is also part of it. So that is an intelligent system to have. Now we have support. So the way we actually run this, I'll tell you about the pricing later. But for now, just understand the capabilities and functionalities of this application. Now, if you're operating your business in the UK, US, France, Belgium, some part of Europe, and even let's say outside of Nigeria, let's say for instance Congo DRC, we have actually introduced what we call a multilingual platform, whereby the application transitions into French for those who are operating the business in Anglophone country or Francophone countries. I mean, like French speaking countries or English speaking countries. Now that is interesting. What we've also done is that you have a sort of a controlled a sort of a control grade, well, let's say for instance user access control, but this is an enterprise grade security level, which means that we have what we call role-based access control. So there are certain users that can utilize this application, starting from the admin, who can be your manager, and then you have different staff operating at different capacity. Let's say warehouse, somebody in charge of online, somebody is in charge of the outlets. So you can set this individual roles for some of your staff, so you have sort of full control. So that's quite interesting. Let's work towards getting into the application. This is just an overview. This is a screenshot giving you the sort of the highlight of the application, which I'm going to show you in real life. So let's dive into the application, and then I'll bring that up, and then I'll be sharing my screen in a moment. Great. So I hope that you can see my screen. Now, this is just an example of one of our potential customers which they're currently trying out the product. And I'm just going to show you an example of how this can be applied. Now, this business runs a grocery, they're into groceries. So I'm using a grocery store as a case study for this demo today. It doesn't mean that any other business cannot use it. I'm just giving an example. So for instance, those who are into electronics, those who are into, let's say, stationery business, those who are into gift items, those who are maybe into clothing, even pharmacies, right? It doesn't matter. Pharmaceuticals, healthcare, whatever you're into, as long as it's into buying and selling, here's an application for you. Now let's quickly dive into it. This is the application welcomes you to the dashboard. Now from the dashboard, you can easily see the total sort of amount of sales that you've made. This is just a dummy information, by the way. It's just a dummy. These are dev environment, so it's a dummy information. So don't believe what you see here. Okay. You can see your sales, you can track your expenses, you can see the number of customers that you have in your business. You can track the amount, the bulk of the supply, the worth of the supply you've been able to do, either to different branches or to your customers. You can even see if there's any pending orders from other staff managing the other branches, if they've requested for you to transfer some product, and maybe so you can track that there. Then we have the staff sales performance. Like I mentioned, you can see in this case I'm using a case study of a business located in UK, but I'll show you that it can be used even in Nigeria or outside of Nigeria. Like I mentioned, I'll show you those evidence in a moment. So you can track the staff sales performance, you can see what's going on at the headquarters, amount of sales we've made there, and other branches. You can actually see the highlights, a graphical representation of the income statement. Let's say for instance the sales, total sales versus total expenses, and then versus your profit. Now in this dashboard here, which is tracking the performance of your sales, now you can actually toggle this either from monthly to yearly. So you can actually say, okay, I want to see the performance of my business across the year, maybe the last year or the last 2 years. You can do that. You can even customize the dashboard to say, I want to see my performance of my business from, let's say, last year June to last year December. You can do that here, and then it still gives you the results. So it's quite simple. So without carrying calculator or pen and paper, from the dashboard you already have an overview of your business performance. Now let's go to how we onboard our customers in the system, how we onboard our customers in the application. Very simple. So one of the things that you want to do first is your preference. You want to set your preference, your company name, and the country of your operation. So where do you want to operate? Where do you want to operate? Is it from Nigeria? So for instance, look at this. So if you're operating from Nigeria, all you need to do is set it to Nigeria. If you're operating in France, Belgium, DRC, which is Democratic Republic of Congo, or you're operating your business in the US, the system transforms into the language and the settings that will help you to operate your business in the country of your operation. So you are not limited to just UK, you're not limited to just Nigeria. This is a product that is becoming global, so you want to take advantage of it. Then you set the currency in which you're using in your country. So in this case, it's pounds. If you are operating in US, it's of course USD. If you're operating in, let's say for instance, France or Belgium, it's euro, or maybe those in Congo as well. And then you set the VAT that applies to your business, and then you can put a picture of your business there. So let's go back again. So once your preference is sorted, you can use the application and connect it with a PO